I'm aware I talk about this quite a bit, but without a doubt, one of our biggest sources of suffering is our attempts to control things that are out of our control. And we tend to focus on other people as opposed to focusing on what we can actually control, which is our reactions to our emotional state. In other words, our thoughts and our behaviors, the way in which we treat other people, the way in which we interact with the world. And because I suppose this is such uncharted territory for us, it's a lot easier for us to try to exert control on other people, and I suppose to hand over responsibility for our general contentment to other people, because then we're not faced with our own duality, the fact that we are only one step away from doing something that's kind and benevolent or doing something that's not all that nice. And we struggle with the darker side of ourselves. We struggle with the fact that we feel resentment, that sometimes we want to do things that are cruel or unkind, or sometimes we have unkind thoughts. And as I said, it's so much easier to focus on other people and their wrongdoings and their failings as opposed to taking a look at our own. And I suppose self-awareness is a massive journey, but it's sometimes misconstrued as being about, kind of seeing all the lightness inside yourself. However, it's very much seeing the darkness in yourself as well. I mean, we all tend to be fairly self-centered, and I suppose a lot of the work that is being done with people nearly brings the focus more in on the self. It's all about our experience, and it's all about our boundaries and our needs and what we want. And we don't think about other people and their experience, or the fact that they may be struggling in exactly the same way that we are. I mean, our mind has this incredible ability to distort things to suit the story that we want to tell ourselves, and it tends to either delete, distort, or generalize. And I suppose this just means that basically we often twist things without knowing that we're doing it, to suit our own needs or what we want the outcome to be. And then when things don't work out the way that we expected them to, when people don't act the way that we expected them to, or when life doesn't fall into place the way that we anticipated, we really ruminate in that. We get quite angry, we get frustrated, and we feel resentful. And I suppose it's this fabulous concept, like I came across it in dialect behavioral therapy, which is specifically for borderline personality disorder, but it's applicable everywhere. And it's that of radical acceptance, and that's about accepting life on life's terms. Now, it's not easy. I struggle with it every day. I am always fighting against reality, and it's about continuously bringing yourself back and relinquishing that control. It's worth noting as well that for a lot of people who have struggled with any sort of trauma, or with, an insecure or an unsafe childhood, this is a big one. Control can be a real safety net. It can feel like, a suit of armour in our day-to-day lives. And this is why it can be so difficult to relinquish, because it literally feels like if you let go of the reins, that your life is going to fall apart, that bad things are going to happen. And yet, if you can manage to let go, if you can accept the fact that you never have any control over these external circumstances, you will find greater self-acceptance. You will find greater peace of mind and contentment, because you literally won't have all of these plates spinning that you're trying to keep control over, that are one by one smashing around you, and you just feel like as if, kind of nothing is working the way that you should. And the amount of energy, the amount of your mental, emotional, and spiritual and physical energy that goes into thinking about these things, into trying to think up of ways to control them, to control other people, is phenomenal. I mean, if you could channel that into, kindness, acts of kindness, or in doing something productive, or in learning some new skill or new language, I mean, you'd pick it up like that. It's literally that significant. I always love Covey's. He talks about the circle of influence and the circle of concern. And it just demonstrates that we tend to focus very much on our circle of concern, and that tends to be a fairly wide circle. It's our work colleagues, it's our friends, it's our kids, it's our financial circumstances, it's all of these things which really we don't have an awful lot of control over, and we tend to focus very little on our circle of influence. And these are things which we have potential to change, such as I said, a difficult circumstance that you're in, or your reactions to a certain scenario, your thoughts, your behaviors. It's not that you can change your feelings or your initial response, your initial emotional response, but you can challenge how you think, and you can challenge what you do, and every single decision brings you either further or closer to a good place in life. And obviously there are things that we can do on a daily basis that help us make those better choices. Things like meditation and mindfulness help create more of a space between our initial, I suppose, reaction and the way that we respond to that reaction. So just say, for example, somebody does something and we find it hurtful. When we meditate and when we practice mindfulness, it allows us to be stronger at taking a step back just for a few moments, taking a deep breath and asking ourselves, okay, what am I planning to do here? Okay, what impact is this going to have on me? What impact is this going to have on the other person? Is there another side to this story? Is there a possibility that they're hurting in some way, or that they're just lashing out, or that they're struggling? What is the kindest thing that I can do in this very moment? And how realistic is this whole scenario? How much am I kind of influencing what I perceive with my own stories, with my own kind of insecurities, with my own past experiences? And I suppose it's taken that bit of time to reflect on things and to be fully aware and to be fully conscious that makes us more capable of, kind of remaining calm and not being as reactive, and building better interactions with people. Because again, it's all about, kind of creating connections, not severing them. And if you're going around reacting to everyone, if you're kind of hypersensitive and hyper vigilant, looking for insults everywhere, I mean, you're always going to be in pain, and again, this brings you back to this whole thing of trying to control your pain, trying to not sit with the fact that you're not perfect, trying to sit with the fact that sometimes life is uncomfortable, life isn't fair, that you will struggle and that you will experience hardship. But I mean, as I said, that's part and parcel of life. If you are struggling with control issues in any aspect of your life, get in touch with me on the website. It's fundamentals.ie. You'll also catch me on Instagram and on Facebook. It's Friday today, so hope everyone has a fantastic weekend. I'll talk to you over the weekend.